Silence is often misunderstood as weakness, but in reality, it's one of the most powerful tools in navigating life's complexities. Inspired by Stoic philosophy, silence isn't just the absence of words, it's the presence of wisdom. Today, let's explore 10 profound situations where choosing silence not only protects your peace but also strengthens your character, showing the world the quiet resilience of your soul. When you're angry, avoid saying something you'll regret. Anger has been described as a momentary madness, and for good reason. When we are angry, our rational mind takes a back seat, and our words become sharp weapons. In that fleeting moment of heated emotion, we often say things that don't represent our true selves, things we wish we could take back. But once words are spoken, they are like broken glass, difficult to piece together, and often leaving behind damage that lasts longer than the anger itself. In Stoicism, controlling anger is a sign of strength. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, said, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." This delay is where silence comes in. When you remain silent in moments of anger, you grant yourself the time to process your emotions and think through the consequences of your words. It's a form of self-discipline, a momentary sacrifice of ego for long-term peace. Think about a situation where you've been wronged. Maybe someone cuts you off in traffic, or a colleague undermines you at work. The natural reaction is to let anger take over, shouting at the driver or confronting the colleague in a heated exchange. But what does this achieve? In most cases, it escalates the situation, creating a hostile environment or making you feel worse about losing control. By choosing silence, you break this cycle. Instead of immediately responding, you can reflect on the situation. Is your anger justified, or are you overreacting? If it is justified, how can you address it calmly and constructively? Silence gives you the space to ask these questions and come to better conclusions. Let's consider a more personal scenario, an argument with a loved one. In anger, we often go for the jugular, saying things that hurt because we feel hurt. But these words can leave scars that apologies cannot fully heal. Silence in this situation can be a profound act of love and respect. It communicates that you care about the relationship more than winning the argument. When you calm down, you can approach the conversation with kindness and clarity, addressing the issue without the destructive side effects of anger. Practical application. Pause before speaking. The next time you feel anger bubbling up, stop yourself. Take a deep breath, count to 10, or even walk away if necessary. This pause gives your rational mind a chance to catch up. Focus on your body language. Even if you're silent, your body language can speak volumes. Maintain a calm posture. Avoid clenched fists, crossed arms, or glaring eyes. Instead, focus on relaxing your muscles and keeping a neutral expression. Practice the art of letting go. Not every situation demands a response. Ask yourself, will this matter in a day, a week, or a year? Often the answer is no. Silence, in this case, becomes a powerful way to protect your peace. Deeper insights through Stoicism. The Stoics didn't just advocate for silence as a way to avoid conflict, they saw it as a way to gain wisdom. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Silence in anger helps you regain control over your mind. It allows you to focus on what you can change, your reaction, and let go of what you cannot, the actions or words of others. Over time, mastering the habit of silence in anger transforms how others perceive you. Instead of being seen as impulsive or confrontational, you become someone who exudes calmness, thoughtfulness, and control. People respect those who can maintain their composure under pressure. More importantly, you respect yourself. Silence isn't about ignoring problems or bottling up emotions. It's about channeling your energy wisely. The calm you cultivate through silence radiates outward, making you a more effective communicator, a more peaceful individual, and ultimately, a stronger and more stoic person. When you're being criticized, listen instead of defending. The criticism can feel like a personal attack, triggering our natural instinct to defend ourselves. Whether it's a harsh remark, unsolicited advice, or constructive feedback, Our immediate reaction is often to justify our actions, explain our intentions, or retaliate. But Stoicism teaches us to pause and reflect when faced with criticism, instead of rushing to defend yourself. Silence allows you to listen, evaluate, and respond with wisdom. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Criticism, whether valid or not, is simply an event. How you choose to react determines its impact on your life. Silence in the face of criticism shows maturity and confidence. It indicates that you value understanding over argument and self-improvement over ego. The power of listening. When someone criticizes you, staying silent gives you the opportunity to truly hear what they're saying. Are they pointing out a genuine flaw? Or are their words driven by their own frustrations or biases? By remaining calm and silent, you can assess the situation without being clouded by emotion. This doesn't mean you have to agree with the criticism, but listening allows you to take what's useful and discard what's not. For example, imagine your boss criticizes your work during a meeting. If you interrupt with defensive explanations, you may appear insecure or unwilling to learn. But if you stay silent and listen attentively, you gain a respect of your peers and demonstrate that you're open to improvement. After the criticism, you can calmly ask questions for clarity or share your perspective when the time is right. This measured approach turns criticism into a growth opportunity. Silence shows confidence. Defensiveness often stems from insecurity, while silence reflects confidence. When you don't feel the need to immediately justify yourself, it signals that you are secure in your abilities and self-worth. This quiet strength disarms critics. Instead of escalating the situation, your silence often leads them reflecting on their words, sometimes even reconsidering their approach. Consider this: if a friend criticizes your lifestyle choices, your silence doesn't mean agreement. It means you're choosing to process their words thoughtfully. You avoid unnecessary arguments and maintain your composure. Later, when you feel ready, you can calmly discuss your perspective or simply let the matter go. This balance of silence and selective response enhances relationships and reduces conflict. When criticism is unfair, not all criticism is valid. Some people criticize out of jealousy, anger, or a desire to provoke you. In these cases, silence becomes even more powerful. By refusing to engage, you deny them the reaction they seek. Instead of being drawn into unnecessary drama, you maintain your peace and dignity. Marcus Aurelius advises, you always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul. Silence in the face of unfair criticism can be a shield. Over time, people notice that you don't let negativity affect you, and they begin to respect your resilience. It also prevents you from saying something in anger that could damage your reputation or relationships. Practical steps to use silence effectively. Breathe before reacting. When criticized, take a deep breath and remind yourself that silence is a strength, not a surrender. Ask yourself key questions. Is this criticism valid? Is there a lesson to be learned here? If not, let it go. Respond selectively. After taking time to reflect, decide if a response is even necessary. If it is, frame your reply calmly and constructively. Practice gratitude for feedback. Even when criticism stings, try to see it as an opportunity for growth. This mindset shift makes it easier to handle. Wisdom through silence. Stoicism teaches us to separate what we can control, our reactions, from what we cannot control, others' opinions. Silence helps us master this separation. Instead of letting criticism control your emotions, you take control of the narrative. You choose when and how to respond, if at all. Ultimately, silence in the face of criticism builds character. It makes you a better listener, a more thoughtful communicator, and a person who others look up to for their composure and self-awareness. This silent strength not only transforms how others see you, but also how you see yourself. Confident, wise, and unshakable. During gossip, don't fuel the fire. Rise above it. Gossip is one of the easiest traps to fall into. It can feel harmless in the moment, a casual conversation about someone who isn't present. But Stoic philosophy warns against indulging in gossip. not just because of the harm it can do to others, but also because of what it reveals about you. Staying silent in the face of gossip is a sign of strength, integrity, and self-awareness. It shows that you value truth and character over fleeting entertainment. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This simple principle reminds us that gossip often contains exaggerations, half-truths, or outright lies. Participating in gossip makes you complicit in spreading misinformation and undermining trust. Choosing silence, on the other hand, protects your reputation and sets a standard for how others should behave around you. Why gossip is harmful. Gossip harms everyone involved. The subject, they are judged without a chance to defend themselves. The speaker, they reveal a lack of integrity and risk being mistrusted by others. The listener, they get drawn into negativity and lose the opportunity to focus on meaningful conversations. When you choose silence, you stop this cycle in its tracks. You show that you're uninterested in tearing others down, which speaks volumes about your character. This decision not only elevates you but also inspires others to think twice before gossiping around you. Silence as a shield. Remaining silent during gossip sends a subtle but powerful message. You're not a participant in petty conversations. Over time, people notice this, and you earn a reputation as someone who values integrity and positivity. This silence doesn't have to be awkward or confrontational. It can simply be a refusal to engage. For example, if a group starts gossiping, you can redirect the conversation, excuse yourself, or simply listen without contributing. In a workplace or social setting, this approach can prevent you from being associated with negativity. Imagine overhearing colleagues gossiping about someone's performance. Joining in might feel like bonding, but it risks damaging trust, both with the person being gossiped about and with others who might see you as untrustworthy. Silence, on the other hand, keeps you above the fray and focused on more meaningful connections. Choosing higher ground. Gossip is often fueled by insecurities or boredom. Participating in it might provide a momentary sense of superiority. But Stoicism reminds us to seek lasting value instead of fleeting pleasures. By staying silent, you choose the higher ground. This not only protects your integrity, but also helps you cultivate a mindset focused on growth rather than judgment. Seneca advised, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." If you consistently refuse to engage in gossip, you attract people who share your values, people who are positive, supportive, and focused on personal growth. Over time, this shift can transform your social circle and elevate the quality of your relationships. Practical ways to handle gossip silently. Redirect the conversation. If you're part of a group that starts gossiping, steer the topic towards something neutral or positive. Use nonverbal cues. A polite smile or a neutral expression can signal your disinterest without confrontation. Excuse yourself if gossip persists. Leaving a conversation is a graceful way to maintain your values. Reflect on your role. If you're tempted to gossip, ask yourself, what does this say about me? Does it align with the person I want to be? The long-term benefits of silence in gossip. Choosing silence in moments of gossip helps you build an unshakable foundation of trust. People will know that you're someone who doesn't speak negatively about others behind their backs, making them more likely to respect you and confide in you. Additionally, this habit fosters a positive mindset. By avoiding negativity, you free yourself to focus on personal growth, meaningful conversations, and stronger relationships. Stoicism teaches us to act in ways that reflect our highest values, not our fleeting emotions. Silence in the face of gossip is a small but significant step toward living a life of integrity, respect, and wisdom. It demonstrates that you're not just someone who values virtue, you're someone who practices it every day. When someone is venting, let them feel heard without interruption. In moments of frustration, sadness, or anger, people often need to express themselves to process their emotions. When someone vents, they're not necessarily seeking advice or solutions. They're seeking understanding and empathy. Stoicism teaches us to be compassionate listeners by practicing silence in such moments. By doing so, we not only strengthen our relationships but also demonstrate patience, emotional intelligence, and respect. Epictetus emphasized the importance of understanding others, saying, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Silence in this context is not about withholding words, but about creating space for the other person to feel validated and understood. The power of listening without speaking. When someone vents, interrupting or offering advice too quickly can make them feel dismissed or unheard. Imagine a friend is upset about a difficult day at work. If you immediately jump in with advice like, "You should just quit that job," or shift the focus to your experiences by saying, "That happened to me too," you risk invalidating their feelings. On the other hand, staying silent allows them to fully express themselves without feeling judged or overshadowed. By listening attentively, you provide emotional support and give them the freedom to release their frustrations. Often, the simple act of being heard is enough to help someone feel lighter and more at peace. Why silence is effective when someone is venting. It validates their emotions. Silence shows that you respect their feelings and that their experiences matter. It prevents escalation. Venting can sometimes lead to heightened emotions. Interrupting or disagreeing may intensify the situation, while silence helps de-escalate. It encourages reflection. When people talk uninterrupted, they often process their own thoughts and emotions, finding clarity on their own. It builds trust. Being a patient listener strengthens bonds. People are more likely to trust you when they know you won't interrupt or judge them. Practical ways to show support through silence. Maintain open body language. Your silence should feel inviting, not distant. Nod occasionally, make eye contact, and show engagement through your posture. Use nonverbal cues. Small affirmations like a gentle smile or a comforting pat on the shoulder can convey empathy without words. Resist the urge to solve. Sometimes, the best way to help is simply to be present. Offer solutions only if they explicitly ask for advice. Wait before responding. Once they finish venting, pause briefly before speaking. This ensures they've fully expressed themselves and reassures them that you've been listening. How this reflects Stoic wisdom. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our reactions, and to approach others with kindness and understanding. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." When someone vents, practicing silence is a way to be tolerant and patient. You create a safe space for them to release their emotions while maintaining your own composure. This silence is not passive, it's an active form of support. It demonstrates strength, patience, and a willingness to prioritize the other person's needs. Over time, this practice not only helps others feel valued but also strengthens your own emotional resilience and ability to navigate challenging conversations. The long-term benefits of staying silent when others vent. By mastering the art of silent listening, you become a source of comfort and support for those around you. This strengthens your relationships and enhances your reputation as someone who is empathetic, wise, and composed. More importantly, it helps you embody the Stoic ideal of acting with compassion and understanding in all interactions. In the end, silence in these moments is not just about helping others. It's about cultivating inner peace and emotional intelligence within yourself. It's a small yet powerful way to live a life of kindness, patience, and virtue. When you're angry, pause before you speak. Anger is one of the most destructive emotions, capable of causing lasting harm to relationships, reputations, and inner peace. When you're angry, words can spill out without thought, often creating regrets that linger long after the anger subsides. Stoicism emphasizes the power of self-control in these moments, urging us to remain silent until our emotions have settled. This silence is not weakness. It's a profound strength that protects both yourself and those around you. Seneca wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." By pausing before you speak in anger, you give yourself the gift of time to think, reflect, and respond with wisdom instead of reaction. Why anger demands silence? Anger clouds judgment, making us say things we don't mean or act impulsively. When we react in anger, our words are often fueled by emotion rather than reason. This can lead to unnecessary arguments, damaged relationships, and a loss of respect. Silence, on the other hand, creates a buffer between the trigger and your reaction, allowing your rational mind to regain control. Imagine being criticized in public by a colleague. Your immediate response might be to lash out, defending yourself with harsh words. But this could escalate the situation, making you appear unprofessional. If you choose silence instead, you maintain your composure, giving yourself time to process the criticism and decide how to address it constructively later. This not only protects your reputation but also keeps the situation from spiraling out of control. The power of the pause. Silence in moments of anger is not about suppressing your emotions. It's about managing them. When you pause, you allow your mind to shift from reaction to reflection. This pause can be as simple as taking a deep breath, counting to 10, or stepping away from the situation temporarily. These small actions create the space you need to think clearly and respond thoughtfully. How silence transforms anger. It prevents regret. Words spoken in anger often lead to guilt or regret. Silence ensures you don't say something you can't take back. It preserves relationships. By staying silent, you avoid saying things that could harm your relationships, keeping a focus on resolving the issue instead of creating new conflicts. It strengthens your reputation. People admire those who can remain calm under pressure. Silence in anger demonstrates self-control and emotional maturity. It promotes inner peace. Reacting in anger often prolongs the negative emotions. Silence helps you process and release those feelings more quickly. Practical steps to stay silent in anger. Recognize the trigger. The moment you feel anger rising, acknowledge it. Awareness is the first step to controlling a reaction. Take a physical pause. Remove yourself from the situation if possible. Go for a walk, get some fresh air, or even just close your eyes for a moment. Breathe deeply. Focus on your breath to calm your body and mind. Deep breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, reducing feelings of anger. Reflect before responding. Ask yourself, what outcome do I want from this situation? Let your answer guide your response. Applying Stoic wisdom to anger. Marcus Aurelius advised, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you're angry, it's tempting to blame others or external circumstances for your emotions. But Stoicism teaches that the true source of power lies within you. By choosing silence, you take control of your reaction, proving that you are stronger than the emotion trying to control you. Long-term benefits of managing anger through silence. Practicing silence when angry not only protects your relationships, but also enhances your emotional resilience. Over time, you become less reactive and more composed, gaining a reputation as someone who handles challenges with grace and wisdom. This strengthens your personal and professional relationships, as people are drawn to those who can remain calm in difficult situations. By mastering silence in moments of anger, you align yourself with Stoic virtues like self-discipline, patience, and wisdom. This practice not only helps you navigate conflicts with integrity, but also brings you closer to the ultimate Stoic goal, living a life of tranquility and inner strength. When faced with criticism, let silence be your strength. Criticism, whether fair or unfair, can trigger an immediate urge to defend yourself, argue, or lash out. However, responding impulsively often does more harm than good. Stoicism teaches us to embrace criticism with humility and composure, allowing silence to speak for us. This silence reflects confidence, self-control, and an openness to growth, qualities that are far more powerful than any defensive response. Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. These words remind us that our focus should not be on what others think, but on aligning our actions with our principles. When faced with criticism, silence provides the space to evaluate the validity of the feedback without letting ego or emotion interfere. The power of silence in criticism. Criticism can feel like an attack, but it is often an opportunity for growth. Reacting defensively might make you seem insecure or unwilling to improve, whereas staying silent communicates strength and confidence. Silence allows you to carefully consider the feedback and decide how, or if, you should respond. Imagine receiving negative feedback from a manager during a meeting. Speaking out defensively in front of others could come across as unprofessional or combative. Remaining silent, however, shows maturity and a willingness to listen. It gives you time to reflect and respond thoughtfully later, demonstrating that you value self-improvement over ego. Why silence is effective in handling criticism. It prevents escalation. Immediate responses can escalate tensions, especially if the criticism is delivered harshly. Silence diffuses the situation. It encourages self-reflection. Silence gives you the time to evaluate the criticism's validity and decide if changes are needed. It projects confidence. A calm, silent response shows that you are secure enough to listen without feeling the need to defend yourself. It protects your reputation. By not reacting emotionally, you maintain your composure and professionalism, earning respect from others. How to practice silence in criticism. Listen fully. Allow the other person to finish speaking without interrupting. This shows respect and ensures you understand their perspective. Pause before responding. Take a moment to breathe and gather your thoughts. If necessary, let them know you'll respond later after reflecting. Acknowledge, don't argue. A simple, "Thank you for your feedback," can diffuse tension and leave room for a more thoughtful discussion later. Reflect on the criticism. Ask yourself, is this feedback constructive? Is there truth in it? How can I use it to improve? Applying Stoic wisdom to criticism. Epictetus taught, if someone speaks badly of you, do not defend yourself against the accusations but reply, "You obviously don't know my other faults, or you would have mentioned them as well." This humorous yet profound perspective reminds us that criticism is not a reflection of our worth, but an opportunity to practice humility and resilience. Stoicism encourages us to focus on what we can control, our actions, and our reactions. Criticism is external, it only has power if we let it. By choosing silence, you demonstrate that your self-worth isn't dependent on others' opinions. Instead, you remain anchored in your values and principles. The long-term benefits of silent strength in criticism. Over time, practicing silence in the face of criticism builds emotional resilience. You learn to separate constructive feedback from baseless negativity and use it to grow rather than allowing it to diminish your confidence. This approach fosters stronger relationships as others see you as open-minded, mature, and self-assured. Silence also helps you maintain focus on what truly matters, your own progress and integrity. By letting criticism pass through you without disrupting your inner peace, you embody the Stoic ideal of living with wisdom, strength, and purpose. This habit not only transforms how you handle challenges, but also sets you apart as a person of unshakable character. When you don't have enough knowledge, speak less, learn more. One of the key principles of Stoicism is humility, the acknowledgement of what we do not know. In a world where opinions are often shared more than facts, choosing silence in areas where you lack knowledge is not a weakness, but a sign of wisdom. It demonstrates your respect for truth and your commitment to learning rather than merely contributing noise. Socrates famously stated, "I am the wisest man alive, for I know one thing, and that is that I know nothing." This Stoic-inspired mindset encourages us to approach conversations with humility, recognizing that silence can be more powerful than speaking without understanding. Why silence in unfamiliar situations reflects wisdom. When faced with topics outside your expertise, it's easy to feel pressured to contribute or pretend to know more than you do. However, speaking without knowledge can damage your credibility and close off opportunities to learn from those who are more informed. Silence, on the other hand, reflects humility and a willingness to listen, opening the door to deeper understanding. Imagine being in a discussion about a complex subject, like advanced economics or quantum physics, where your knowledge is limited. Jumping in with superficial comments might expose your lack of expertise. By remaining silent, you allow others to share their insights while positioning yourself as an attentive and thoughtful listener. This approach not only helps you learn but also earns the respect of those around you. The benefits of staying silent when you lack knowledge. It protects your credibility. Silence prevents you from making inaccurate statements that could harm your reputation. It demonstrates humility. Acknowledging that you don't know something shows confidence and self-awareness. It facilitates learning. By listening instead of speaking, you gain knowledge that you can apply in future discussions. It strengthens relationships. People appreciate those who listen attentively and show genuine interest in their perspectives. Practical steps to handle conversations where you lack knowledge. Acknowledge your limits. If asked for your opinion, admit your lack of expertise with statements like, "I'm not familiar with that topic, but I'd love to learn more." Ask questions instead. Use the opportunity to gain insights by asking thoughtful questions that deepen your understanding. Listen actively. Pay close attention to what others are saying, showing genuine curiosity and engagement. Resist the urge to impress. Focus on learning rather than appearing knowledgeable. Authenticity is far more valuable than pretense. Stoic insights on silence and learning. Epictetus taught, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." Silence in moments of ignorance is not just about avoiding embarrassment. It's about creating the mental space to absorb new information. Stoicism reminds us that true wisdom lies in seeking knowledge, not in pretending to possess it. By choosing silence, you cultivate intellectual humility, a trait that not only helps you grow but also fosters deeper connections with others. People are drawn to those who listen more than they speak, valuing their sincerity and openness to new ideas. The long-term impact of embracing silence to learn. Over time, this habit of staying silent in unfamiliar situations transforms you into a lifelong learner. It builds a reputation for thoughtfulness, humility, and wisdom, as others see you as someone who values truth over ego. Silence also protects your peace of mind. By resisting the pressure to appear knowledgeable, you free yourself from the fear of making mistakes or being judged. Instead, you focus on growth, embodying the Stoic ideal of aligning your actions with your values and striving to become the best version of yourself. In the end, silence in the face of ignorance is not an admission of weakness, but a declaration of strength. A reminder that the journey to wisdom begins with listening and learning. When someone is venting, be a listener, not a fixer. In moments when someone is overwhelmed by emotions and needs to express their feelings, silence can be one of the most supportive responses you can offer. Stoicism teaches the value of patience and understanding, reminding us that not every situation requires our input. Sometimes, the greatest gift you can give is your presence and your willingness to listen. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." This perspective encourages us to extend grace and patience to those who are struggling, recognizing that silence can provide the safe space they need to process their emotions. Why listening in silence matters. When someone is venting, they are often seeking understanding rather than solutions. Jumping in with advice or interrupting can make them feel dismissed or unheard. By staying silent, you allow them to fully express themselves, showing that you respect their feelings and value their perspective. Imagine a friend sharing their frustrations about a difficult situation at work. If you interrupt with advice like, "You should quit," or "just ignore it," they might feel that their emotions are being minimized. Instead, by remaining silent, nodding, and offering affirming gestures, you create an environment where they feel safe to open up fully. The benefits of silence when listening to someone vent. It shows empathy. Silence communicates that you care enough to truly listen without judgment or interruption. It builds trust. People feel valued and respected when they are given the space to express themselves freely. It helps them process emotions. Talking things out often helps people find clarity and solutions on their own. It strengthens relationships. Your silence demonstrates patience and understanding, deepening your connection. How to be a supportive listener in silence. Maintain eye contact. This shows that you are fully present and engaged in the conversation. Use nonverbal cues. Nodding, leaning slightly forward, or maintaining an open posture can encourage them to keep sharing. Avoid interrupting. Resist the urge to offer solutions or advice unless they specifically ask for it. Provide reassurance. A simple, "I'm here for you," or a gentle touch on the shoulder can convey support without words. Stoic wisdom on empathy and silence. Seneca advised, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." Silence during someone's moment of need is a profound act of kindness. It allows them to feel heard, understood, and valued. This aligns with Stoic principles of compassion and community, emphasizing the importance of being there for others in meaningful ways. Choosing silence doesn't mean you are disengaged. It means you are prioritizing their need to express themselves over your desire to respond. This selflessness is at the heart of Stoic philosophy, which calls us to serve others while maintaining our own inner tranquility. The long-term impact of silent listening. Over time, practicing silent listening strengthens your relationships and enhances your emotional intelligence. People come to see you as a source of comfort and wisdom, knowing that they can trust you to be present without judgment or interruption. This builds deeper connections and a reputation for empathy and reliability. Silence also benefits you personally by freeing you from the pressure to always have answers. It teaches you to embrace the role of the listener, finding peace in simply being there for someone else. By embodying this Stoic virtue, you create a ripple effect of kindness and understanding, enriching your life and the lives of those around you. When someone is trying to start a conflict, silence is the best response. In life, there will be times when others attempt to provoke you or start a conflict, whether out of anger, frustration, or personal motives. Stoicism teaches that we must not react impulsively to conflict, but instead choose our responses with wisdom. Silence in these situations is a powerful tool for diffusing tension and maintaining your peace. Epictetus taught, "We are disturbed not by what happens to us, but by our thoughts about what happens." This wisdom reminds us that our responses to provocation are within our control. By staying silent, you avoid getting caught up in unnecessary conflict and protect your emotional well-being. Why silence is effective in handling conflict. When someone tries to start a conflict, responding with words or escalating the situation only fuels the fire. Silence, on the other hand, disarms the aggressor by taking away the immediate emotional reaction they were seeking. In many cases, they may realize that their attempt to provoke you has failed, and the conflict will lose its momentum. For example, if someone starts arguing with you at work or in a social setting, choosing to remain silent instead of defending yourself or retaliating may make them uncomfortable and stop them from continuing the conflict. This not only protects your peace but also establishes that you are not willing to engage in unnecessary disputes. The benefits of silence in conflict situations. It diffuses tension. By not responding, you take away the fuel for the fire, preventing the situation from escalating further. It protects your peace. Silence allows you to remain calm and composed, shielding you from unnecessary stress and emotional turmoil. It demonstrates emotional control. By choosing not to engage, you show strength and emotional maturity, rather than succumbing to the provocation. It puts the focus on the provoker. Often, people who seek conflict want attention. Silence redirects the focus away from you and highlights their behavior. How to respond with silence in conflict. Stay calm and breathe. When provoked, take a deep breath before responding. This helps to clear your mind and maintain composure. Choose your words carefully if you must speak. Choose calm and measured words. If possible, avoid engaging in the conflict at all. Maintain your body language. Keep your posture open and relaxed. This shows you are not intimidated, but you are not willing to engage in a fight either. Walk away if necessary. Sometimes, the best response is simply to walk away from the situation entirely, giving you both the space to cool down. Applying Stoic wisdom to conflict. Seneca wisely said, "He who is brave is free from anger." Choosing silence in the face of provocation is not a sign of weakness. It is a demonstration of strength and emotional discipline. Stoicism teaches that we have the power to control how we respond to external events, including the actions of others. By remaining silent, we avoid falling into the trap of reactive behavior and preserve our peace of mind. The long-term impact of using silence in conflict. Over time, the ability to remain silent in the face of conflict strengthens your emotional resilience and enhances your reputation as someone who handles challenges with grace. People around you will come to respect your calm demeanor and your ability to navigate difficult situations without escalating them. This not only improves your relationships, but also helps you maintain a sense of inner peace, regardless of external chaos. By practicing silence in conflict, you embody the Stoic virtue of apatheia, freedom from passion. You refuse to let external events disturb your inner tranquility, and in doing so, you cultivate a life of greater emotional freedom and peace. When you're in doubt, let silence lead to clarity. In moments of uncertainty or doubt, the impulse to speak or take immediate action can cloud your judgment. However, Stoicism teaches us that the right course of action often comes not from haste, but from careful thought and reflection. Silence in times of doubt creates the space for clarity, allowing you to make decisions based on reason rather than emotion or impulse. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This wisdom underscores the importance of introspection before action. Silence allows you to step back, reflect, and gain clarity, leading to more thoughtful and deliberate choices. Why silence helps when you're in doubt? When faced with a decision or uncertain situation, it's easy to feel the pressure to act quickly. However, rushing into decisions often leads to mistakes or regret. By choosing silence, you give yourself the time and space needed to assess your options, weigh the consequences, and align your actions with your values. Silence provides the clarity to see the bigger picture and avoid hasty decisions. For example, if you are unsure whether to accept a job offer or make a major life change, it's tempting to talk it through with others or make a decision based on the urgency of the situation. However, taking a step back and practicing silence allows you to think deeply about what aligns with your long-term goals and values. The clarity gained through this process leads to better, more thoughtful decisions. The benefits of silence in doubtful situations. It reduces impulsive decisions. Silence gives you time to process your thoughts and consider all possible outcomes. It helps you align with your values. By reflecting quietly, you ensure that your decision is aligned with your long-term goals and personal values. It prevents regret. Taking time to think before acting ensures that you are making a choice you can feel confident about, avoiding regret later on. It promotes rational thinking. Silence encourages you to approach uncertainty with reason and logic rather than emotion or external pressure. How to practice silence in times of doubt. Pause before responding. When faced with a decision, take a moment of silence before acting. Use this time to reflect on your options and how they align with your values. Seek stillness. Engage in meditation, deep breathing, or simply sit in silence to clear your mind and gain perspective. Ask yourself the right questions. Reflect on questions like, what is the best long-term outcome of this decision? Or, what is my true motivation behind this action? Consult your inner wisdom. Silence helps you connect with your inner self, allowing you to trust your intuition and make decisions based on deep self-awareness. Applying Stoic wisdom to doubt. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Silence allows you to cultivate the right thoughts, leading to more deliberate and mindful actions. When in doubt, embracing silence allows you to quiet the noise of the world and hear your inner wisdom. This creates space for decisions that are thoughtful, aligned with your true self, and free from external pressures. The long-term impact of silent reflection and doubt. Over time, practicing silence in moments of doubt strengthens your ability to make wise decisions. You develop a habit of thoughtful introspection that becomes second nature, leading to better life choices and a deeper sense of confidence in your decisions. This practice fosters emotional clarity, mental peace, and the ability to trust your judgment in even the most uncertain situations. By making silence a key part of your decision-making process, you align yourself with the Stoic virtue of wisdom, ensuring that your actions reflect reason, patience, and long-term thinking. The power of silence in Stoicism. In our fast-paced, reaction-driven world, silence is a rare and often undervalued tool. Yet, as we've explored, embracing silence in certain situations can be one of the most powerful ways to align with Stoic principles and lead a life of wisdom, tranquility, and self-mastery. Whether it's in moments of doubt, conflict, or ignorance, choosing to be silent allows us to pause, reflect, and act with clarity rather than reacting impulsively. By embracing silence in the face of provocation, emotional outbursts, or difficult decisions, we practice self-control and emotional intelligence, two core tenets of Stoicism. Silence allows us to preserve our inner peace and make decisions based on thoughtful consideration rather than hasty reactions. It helps us avoid unnecessary conflict, build deeper connections, and protect our mental and emotional well-being. Moreover, silence is not merely the absence of speech, but the presence of mindfulness, humility, and wisdom. It opens up space for reflection, learning, and growth, creating an opportunity to listen more, judge less, and understand better. In times of uncertainty or emotional turmoil, silence can guide us to the clarity and insight we need to navigate life's challenges. Incorporating these principles of silence into your daily life may not always be easy, but with consistent practice, they will help you build stronger, more resilient relationships, make wiser decisions, and cultivate a peaceful and centered mind. As you practice silence, you align more closely with the Stoic ideal of mastering your internal world, regardless of the external chaos around you. Remember, sometimes saying nothing speaks the loudest. Through silence, we find strength, wisdom, and the true freedom to choose how we respond to life's challenges.